Good morning, everybody. Today's video might be just a little bit shorter. Meant to do it yesterday. Had a whole bunch of yard work that I had to do. I didn't have time. Been a crazy week, but just a heads up. But today, the next fruit of the Spirit is long suffering, and I didn't really fully understand what long suffering was. I kind of thought it was like being blessed and suffering for Christ. I don't know. So I ended up looking up different translations of it in different Bibles. And the one that I found to be the most common in all the translations was patience. Patience was the basic meaning, but maybe in a different manner than what you would normally think. Because the translations that I saw was patience, not just the ability to wait, but how we acted while we were waiting, or forbearance, which would be like patience, self-control, restraint, and, and tolerance, excuse me, or a patience that endures. So let's look inwardly and think about how we act while we are waiting. Are you the type of person that while in your waiting, you pace back and forth in a nervous anticipation? That's kind of how I am. Maybe you're more like my children that are smiling and have such an excitement in what they're really looking forward to. I kind of envision like kids on Christmas waiting to open up their Christmas presents. Or maybe you just flat out can't stand being patient, so you try to hurry things along as fast as possible. Sometimes I fall under this category. Everybody's really different. There's a saying, and it's patience is a virtue. And I think we've all heard that said many times before. And in the Bible, you can find so many different verses about patience, it's not even funny, kind of like this one. In Psalms 37, 7 through 9, it says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret because of him who prospers in his way, because of the man who brings wicked schemes to pass. Cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm. For evildoers shall be cut off, but those who wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth." I think that having patience coincides with having a reverence for God's timing. We need to be worried about growing in God and not focus on where we are in our growth, just that we are doing it, and not on the progress that somebody else has made or hasn't made. Don't get me wrong, it's wonderful to see and hear about others growing and taking great steps in their growth with God, but we shouldn't be jealous of that growth. We should be celebrating with them what God is doing, and we should also be working on ourselves in this process. In our own lives, we can't simply just wake up one day and we can't just wake up one day after being saved and expect to know everything about God's plans within our lives. That's impossible. Only God can do that. But if we were hypothetically here, if we were able to know everything about God's plan over our life, it would honestly probably terrify us. This is why patience is so important to have. Step by step, God takes us on a journey through life. At some points, it may be easy. Other parts of the journey may be much more difficult. But when we get to the end of the journey and we look back and have a better understanding of everything that God was doing, that will be such a rewarding thing to behold. A piece of advice that I have learned is that I need to ask God to open the doors that he wants me to go through. Sometimes I've prayed this, and within minutes, that door is open plainly and clearly. I can remember one instance where where I had prayed that at a service at church, and before I had left the church, somebody came up and they asked me to speak like a devotional, a get together. It was probably all of 10 minutes. But other times, I'm praying on doors to be opened, and they haven't been opened yet. They're still shut. I'm still waiting on God. And if I said that I didn't get discouraged by waiting, then I would be lying to you, because discouragement is used by the devil to keep us from being patient. At least that's what I think. Hearing lies from the enemy like you're not important, it's pointless. If there's a plan for you, then why hasn't that door been opened yet? These are all attacks from the enemy, and we need to remember that. God has a perfect plan and a perfect time. That doesn't mean it seems perfect or ideal to us in that instant, but when we look back in retrospect while standing in eternity, things will be much more clear to us. A faithful reliance on God amidst tribulation beacons our way through the storms of uncertainty, leading us to a safe harbor. Although that faithful reliance doesn't go very far without patience being the focal point. We must persist in patience. Romans 8:25 says, "But if we hope for that which we do not see, We eagerly wait for it with perseverance. We don't always see a big picture of what's going on, but we do follow the one that does. Our Father has it all figured out, and that makes me feel much better because I don't need to worry myself to death and try to get everything figured out. He already has me taken care of. I just need to remember that. Don't mistake me here either. I am very impatient. I have been with smartphones and information overload and instant streaming for so long now that patience really does become difficult at times. I still worry often. It's part of me being human. And many of us, if we were really honest, would probably say that we all feel like this from time to time. I think there is something that we need to keep in mind that the Bible I think there is something that we should keep in mind that the Bible tells us about waiting. It's found in Isaiah 40 and 31. It says, "But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." In our surrender to God, we give Him our alliance. In our confidence or complete faith, God gives us our ability. God is an overcoming God, and He helps us overcome the hardest battles we face with patience. Ourselves are what can honestly get in the way of us being patient. We get in the way of patience when really we need to do is we need to step to the side and let God do what He does. So, quick video. Sorry, that's all I've got for today, but I look forward to be able to share with you guys next week. So, thank you guys for watching.